Hello my friends, just look at this huge Russian convoy. This is not an AI or something, this is the real thing. Russia group all together those light armored or unarmored vehicles like Bukhanka vans, Lada vehicles and many others. And they were visited by Ukrainian drones. This is crazy! And they did it really not that far away from the front lines. Look at the smoke coming. So the convoy was absolutely ambushed. The job was performed by the 1st Ukrainian Azov Corps. They were marvelous there, and Russians, they don't have electronic warfare on those vehicles, or maybe if they have, it is usually not working. It's the first time this year I see this kind of the convoy being ambushed. This is crazy. And what type of the vehicles are out there? Well, the signal is lost, yeah, at the very moment of the strike. And you see, this is the machine vision. So the drone is flying on its own, locked to the target. And what is this BMW battle motor vehicle or yeah, vehicle after vehicle after vehicle? This video is crazy. So Russians, they've lost everything. This convoy was like more than 40 vehicles, it seems like, according to the latest information published by our guys. And the location where it happened is between Novoekonomichna and Nova Poltavka, so-called Russian-controlled territory, fully red. This place is not that far away from Pokrovsk, Mirnograd is somewhere here, and Russians tried to accumulate the forces for the attack towards Shakhove. But before they failed with one more major attack where they used their tanks, T-72B3 modification equipped with Arena M system. Even though it worked, but it was not enough to shut down all of the Ukrainian drones, and tanks were flatlined as those vehicles I just showed you. Yeah, let me show you on this map. So Pokrovsk, Mirnograd and Novoekonomichna is over here. So here Russians try to accumulate forces for unsuccessful, let's say, mission, which failed totally for them. And of course there were also infantry losses, not just the vehicles. And later on, the Russians filmed themselves the remains of this convoy. Just look, Niva vehicles, like everything, yeah, UAZ. This is crazy what happened there, guys. It is outstanding. Yeah, guys, I'm absolutely shocked. Russians are accumulating their forces at the same place still. Already for the 5th year of this war, they cannot understand that gathering all together those vehicles very close to the front line, relatively close, is a death sentence for their own soldiers. You know, sometimes I think that someone, or maybe not just one, but many persons in the Russian military command, they're working for Ukraine, because the way how they waste their resources, their armament, their vehicles, it is unhinged. And just imagine if Ukraine did it, something similar. Our people would riot on the streets, you know? Like, how could you potentially do it? We need to dismiss, like, the general commander of Ukrainian army, all of those generals. And yeah, there is some strange stuff happening in Ukrainian army as well, but not that unhinged as in the Russian army. This is unbelievable. Okay, so there were no BMPs, no tanks, so it seems like Russians are betting on maneuverability. They want to overwhelm Ukrainian defense to break through on those high-speed, relatively high-speed vehicles, and their goal is to basically land the forces close to Ukrainian positions. For Ukraine, those vehicles are relatively easy targets, but the infantry personnel that goes to those ruined buildings, basements, it's very hard to get rid of those just with the help of the drones, and for this reason Ukraine sometimes even drops aviation gliding bombs to target Russian positions. That's the waste of time, resources, but it is needed to hold Russian attacks. So of course for Ukraine it's better to use some of the surveillance drones to spot Russian movement on those vehicles further away from the front lines and fight them with the drones. So after all, Russian tanks leave more, and this is the screenshot of the Russian attack in the same direction towards Shakhove, but where Russians used those T-72B3 tanks. And as the variant for them, I think they're looking for it, is to modernize Arena M system to put many more shells there. Now it carries 12 of the shells, which is not enough, because Ukraine uses at least 20 drones per tank. Maybe that is how Russians potentially might return to maneuverable war using tanks. Again, Russians should deeply modernize the existing Arena M system, and for that they might spend years. And also they need mass produce and put those systems on existing tanks, which also takes time, efforts and resources. The Russian military budget is not infinite after all, and they have lots of the systems to upgrade, systems to produce. First of all, ballistics, they have to pay for their soldiers. So this might work, but they need years for it to be successful. The current existing Arena M system, the Russian tanks will be kaputted, and we saw it in action already. My friends, just a short break reminder, please don't forget to press like to this video and also subscribe to the channel. We are on the way to reach 1 million subscribers, hopefully this year. And you are helping with likes, subscriptions a lot. And also, if you can, of course, you may support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join membership of YouTube channel by pressing button join. Thank you guys, you're amazing. You're really helping me to produce content daily. And let's continue with the video. Analyst Clement Molin also shares his opinion about this Russian attack. So Russians accumulated this convoy, or the forces plus tanks, before they went in attack towards Dobropilya direction. So in 2025-2026, nearly all Russian mechanized motorized assaults happen in this exact same area. So there is some of the commander who is responsible for that and who is a great fan of those mechanized attacks. Every time Russian vehicles prepare in Donetsk assemble near Malinivka, red rectangular, yes, here, assault on the same two roads, both leading to Shakhova, with one where a river crossing is needed, and every time they are kaputted. Why do they keep doing this? Yes, it's also the question I have, because this area is one of the most strategic in the Donbass right now. Is at the crossroads between Dobropilya and Drushkivka. It is absolutely needed in order to assault both cities. It also lies close to a very important Ukrainian defense line in Kucherev Yar. If it was to be breached, Russian forces would be able to go behind Dobropilya and Drushkivka, eventually coming west of Kramatorsk. Yes, that's what they try to do. This exact area has been the heart of the Russian offensive attempt since 2024. This is where they obtained the Dobropilya breakthrough in August 1 year ago. Yes, exactly. I remember that. I was like alarming, oh, breakthrough. And indeed, it was a breakthrough. Only with emergency firefighting brigades, Ukraine managed to keep the situation under control. This is from here they went around Pokrovsk, and they absolutely need this area to bomb logistics roads to Kramatorsk. The Ukrainian defense has been incredibly solid, yes, thanks to the First Army Azov Corps. The battle for Rodinskaya lasted a year. The village of Shakhova remained Ukrainian during months, and the kill zone is in the red area. Well, it's massive, yeah. Here I agree. Geolocated videos show a staggering amount of Russian vehicles being destroyed here, and lots of the soldiers flatlining in this area. Strategic importance of this place, like tactical heights, key crossroads, key positions to further threaten the Donbass fortress, made it very important. The front line may move in the next few months, but the Ukrainians should not let Russians to cross the line at all. Yeah, this is very important. Russians already felt that they managed to break through in the same direction like 1 year ago, and they're trying to do it again and again, but they do it in a stupid way. They just accumulate the forces and they attack mid-waves, but Azov Corps has enough drones to compensate all of those attacks, like to cancel them altogether. So an absolutely great job done by Ukrainian defenders. Yes, painting Buhankas into zebras, it doesn't actually work. It looks interesting, yeah. Design is superb. Russians, you have a great painting livery job here. Who the hell came out with this solution? Like, what Russian commander who told that they should paint those vehicles in zebras? I think that guy is just making fun of the Russian soldiers, and I saw multiple of those videos. This camouflage, it doesn't help. This Russian truck driver is damn lucky. The drone did not kaboom, but it damaged the vehicle quite significantly, and probably it requires heavy maintenance, at least to radiator, maybe the parts of the engines and the systems. Yeah, this is the Russian supply Ural truck. Ukraine kaputs lots of those. To the other strikes, this is the Russian RLS Terek. This is the radar system, the eyes of the Russian army, and it was hit. I think it is Zaporizhia direction. See what we have here? They try to hide it, you see? Dig it down underground. They're putting more wood, but this is the Ram-2X drone. And the distance from the surveillance drone, you may see it, more than 7 kilometers. So this is the system. Yeah, it was a kaput. Operation of the Ukrainian mid-strikes, they're very effective still. Yes, there is the drop in the number of the strikes, but they're more precise, I would say. And here Russians tried to hide their Msta-S artillery system. It was hit on the way, but continued its movement. You see it was hit, but went off. Okay, we were spotted, we need to hide. They put it to this hangar, and later on Ukraine, of course, discovered the system. It was still on fire, you see on top, and finished the job. It went on fire, completely kaboomed. The way here you see that it was the agricultural infrastructure that was completely demolished as the result of the war, and Russians also precisely and for purpose strike Ukrainian agricultural facilities. So when someone says that the war in Ukraine is about Putin gaining more resources, it's not about resources. Absolutely. Putin destroys everything. All of the metallurgical industry, all of the ports, he grinds down everything. Villages, towns, cities, with the people there. This war is about Russian Empire. Putin just wants to dismantle Ukraine for the finances Putin already used for this stupid war. He could have built tons of the very profitable facilities back in Russia to produce lots of the components, resources, and instead he finances his endless war, and the mobilization is coming. Well, I think that, according to my sources, roughly 800,000 soldiers could be mobilized in Russia this autumn and winter. They'll need several months to be prepared fully, and they'll be sent to the front lines. But where exactly, it's hard to tell. That's the topic of the different video, I think. One more Msta-S artillery system was kaputted by Ukrainian HIMARS. Recently, Russia has deployed lots of the Msta-S systems closer to the front lines. For the last week, I saw at least 4 of them Msta-S being kaputted completely by the drones, or this one by HIMARS. Russia uses artillery that much, it means that they're planning something, some of the attack operations, assaults, and definitely they're taking initiative back in most of the points of the front lines. Unfortunately, it's like that. Kind of interesting article here. Is Russia running out of trucks? Partially, yes. They're unable already to compensate the losses because of the Ukrainian mid-strikes, and you saw the Convoy initially. There were also trucks, smaller trucks, bigger trucks, like for example this Ural that was kaputted on the way delivering some of the goods. Ukraine gradually intensified the strikes behind the front lines for the last 3 months. That's why Russian army switched to the companies that continue to deliver some of the supplies using civilian vehicles, civilian trucks, and they are also hit by Ukraine. And by switching to civilian companies delivering some of the goods to Crimea via the road R280, Russia basically set up those companies, those drivers, because Ukraine doesn't have the tools to look inside those trucks. What do they carry? So every truck is a potential target that is delivering fuel, components for the Russian army, or it could be a civilian cargo, because we don't know. This convoy was kaputted in the Kursk Oblast. You see how many of the military trucks Russia has. They were trying to deliver some of the supplies. They gathered themselves at one single spot because it was safe before to do so. Ukraine has already expanded the range of the mid-strike drones, and they are reaching those trucks easily. The Ukrainian tactics includes the combination from gathering the intelligence information from the Russian command about the movement of the Russian forces, after the confirmation with the satellite imagery about the moving of the convoy, and later the surveillance with the help of the drone, and finally the strike. Kaboom! Whether it's HIMARS or FPV drones or mid-strike drones, it depends. So about the supplies, Russian forces are already starting to feel shortages. It's still not the big crisis in the Russian army with those trucks and supplies, but it is coming. Ukraine needs just to steadily, gradually disable those trucks. As we know, Russians went to Konstantinivka, and Drushkivka is the next settlement on the way in this iron belt, and Russians have already started to bomb it massively, well, actually a long time ago, but some of the locals, like those elderly people, they decided to stay, but it was a very wrong decision, because they could be annihilated by the Russian strikes, and you see that their house, it's basically gone, and likely they managed to evacuate altogether. I'm not sure about their further destiny, but now evacuation even from Drushkivka, it is under the big question because of the constant strikes and drones flying everywhere. For example, even in Slavansk, which is way far away compared to Drushkivka, this evacuation vehicle was hit by the Russian FPV drone. Of course, for locals who grown up in their homes their whole life, it's very hard to leave. Yeah, it's understandable. Also, Ukraine doesn't have enough programs for those people who were allocated because of the war action. That's why many of the Ukrainians, they're moving abroad, not just because they want, but because the conditions there, at least there is something. Because in Ukraine, like, government cannot propose almost anything for Ukrainians. In the best case, some of the temporary shelters, so Ukrainian economy is struggling as well and taking care about own people. I think it is possible actually to find the money, but you know my attitude to Ukrainian government, and basically it's like that. Simply, it's damn freaking corrupt. Still, yes, during the wartime, and this is terrible. Alright guys, today I'm gonna update you with more news. We have some of the interesting Wildberries information, but it requires the separate topic, separate video. So anyways, my friends, if you can, please support my job on Patreon. The link for it is in the video description right below, or join YouTube membership by pressing button join. Guys, you're amazing. Thank you so much for making this content possible. And also don't forget to press like to this video and subscribe to the channel. We are on the way to reach 1 million subscribers, hopefully this year. And I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.